Few country artists have achieved the same level of massive mainstream success as Dolly Parton. And through it all, she's had her husband Carl Dean behind her. Way behind her. How much do Parton's fans really know about this unphotographed mystery man? Here's the untold truth of Dolly Parton's husband. Dolly Parton had just graduated high school when she packed up her belongings in a cardboard suitcase and traveled to Nashville to pursue a career in country music. According to a 1976 profile in the New York Times, soon after hitting town, she ventured to a laundromat, tossed in her dirty clothes, and went for a walk when, quote, "this guy hollered at me, and I waved." As Parton explained on her website, "I was surprised and delighted that while he talked to me, he looked at my face. A rare thing for me. He seemed to be genuinely interested in finding out who I was and what I was about. That guy was Carl Dean, and the two immediately clicked."
The first time he took me out, he took me over to his mom's house and said, "Fix this girl a plate. This is a girl I'm going to marry." And I went, "What?"
It wasn't long after that she and Dean, quote, "took up with each other and were wed on May 30th, 1966. I hadn't intended to marry, but you know how love goes." When Dolly Parton and Carl Dean got hitched, the original plan was for a big family-filled ceremony. Parton told CMT that Dean's mother was especially excited to throw a big wedding party because Dean's sister had previously eloped. However, Parton's burgeoning career cratered those plans when her record label, preferring she remained unmarried, asked her to delay the wedding for a year. Dean's mother, Parton said, was heartbroken. Ever the rebel, Parton went through with it anyhow. She told People, "We'd already sent out invitations and so I thought, I ain't waiting." However, the wedding was no grand affair. Accompanied only by Parton's mother, the couple crossed the Tennessee state line to Ringgold, Georgia, in order to keep the wedding out of the Tennessee newspapers. There was, however, one deal breaker. She insisted on a church wedding. She told CMT, "I said, I can't get married in a courthouse because I'll never feel married. So we found a little Baptist church in town. We got pictures on the steps right outside the church." It's been said that absence makes the heart grow fonder. And Dolly Parton definitely agrees. In a 2018 video interview with Amazon Music, Parton shared the surprising reason why her marriage has lasted as long as it has. She explained, "My husband and I always had a great friendship. We're both funny, and we both have a great and warped sense of humor. So we've always had a good time."
My husband always says I look like a Q-tip.
She went on to call Dean, quote, "a loner and a homebody," whereas she's a gregarious public figure who spent decades of her life on the road. And those differences work just fine for the pair. She said, "We don't do the same thing, so it gives us different stuff to talk about." In the same interview, she joked, "The reason our marriage has lasted so long is because I stay gone." Well, there's a lot of truth in that. We're not like in each other's face all the time. So I think there's a lot to be said about having some sensible separation, because you can't be with somebody 24/7, 365, and not want to smack their face now and then.
We've been married 48 years. We've been together about 3 of that.
3.
Dolly Parton and Carl Dean are far from a typical couple. Yet in the 2018 Amazon Music interview, Parton shared a fact about her marriage that is sure to shock most spouses. "My husband and I have never fought. We've never bickered back and forth because I never wanted us to say bad things that we would have to remember." She admitted that she and Dean have come close to getting in a full-blown fight, but have figured out a way to prevent disagreements from escalating. "We get a little pissy now and then, but we'll just kind of walk off or go do something else and kind of let that die down. You have to work at anything. Marriage is a business too. And you kind of gotta look at it like that. You gotta make the right decisions for all the little things that come up." What's her advice for preventing a domestic blow-up? Go to the other room rather than getting in a big old argument about it. Cool off and know they're just as entitled to their opinion and their space as you are yours.
I think it's real important that you be friends with the person you're married to.
As Parton has made clear, she and Dean live very different lives when they're apart. She told People in 2015, "They say that opposites attract, and it's true. We're completely opposite, but that's what makes it fun. I never know what he's gonna say or do. He's always surprising me." That holds true not just for their personalities, but for their vocations. Parton's career in show business includes performing on tour, acting in movies, launching a record label, and posing on red carpets, whereas Dean ran an asphalt paving company for years. As People noted in a 1977 profile, according to the Daily Mail, he is now retired. Unlike Parton, Carl Dean has chosen to stay out of the limelight, and his superstar wife has respected that decision. However, during a 2011 performance at Nashville's famed Ryman Auditorium, Parton told the audience about the one and only time he accompanied her to a red carpet event. As The Boot reported, Parton explained that the occasion was a music industry dinner in 1966, the same year they were married, where she received her first songwriting award. Parton recalled, "So Carl and I got dressed up, he was in a tux, and we drove to the dinner. We got out and walked up the red carpet, and went inside and sat through dinner and the awards. And I went up and got my award."
You can't miss me.
At the end of the evening, as they were driving home, she explained, "Carl turned to me and said, 'Dolly, I want you to have everything you want, and I'm happy for you. But don't you ever ask me to go to another one of them dang things again.' Clearly, she has honored this request ever since." Despite their enduring marriage, Dolly Parton admits that her husband isn't particularly enamored with her songs. In a 2019 interview with Good Morning Britain, she explained, "He's not necessarily one of my biggest fans of my music. He likes hard rock, he likes Led Zeppelin and bluegrass music. So my music is somewhere in between. I mean, he doesn't dislike it, but he doesn't go out of his way to play my records. Let's put it that way. It's a touchy subject." While that might lead some artists to nurse their bruised egos, Parton takes it in stride. In fact, she prefers to focus on the positive aspects of their relationship. She said,
He's proud of me, and he loves that I love what I do.
Back in 1977, Dolly Parton, then 31, spoke with people about whether or not she and Dean would start a family. "I don't know that I won't have children someday. It's just not possible for me to bear children and leave them for somebody else to raise while I have a career. If I wait until I'm naturally too old to have children, I can always adopt them." In the early 1980s, Parton underwent a partial hysterectomy after being diagnosed with endometriosis. She told the Evening Standard in 2007, "It was an awful time for me when I realized there would be no babies. Like many young couples, Parton and Dean had taken children as a given. A few years later, she told Billboard, "We just assumed we would have kids. We weren't doing anything to stop it. In fact, we thought maybe we would." Parton also revealed that she and her husband went so far as to pick out names for the children they might have one day. But her feelings of regret are long behind her. She explained, "Now I say, God didn't mean for me to have kids, so everybody's kids could be mine." Parton dropped by The Ellen DeGeneres Show in 2011, where she was asked if Dean ever travels with her when she goes on tour. She confessed, "No, he doesn't like to do that. He gets nervous seeing me perform. It's almost like seeing your kid in a recital. He's afraid I'll mess up. Actually, he has seen me a time or two, and it did relax him a little. He saw that I do mess up, and it's okay, because people are not going to punish me for it."
I love show business.
Speaking with Good Morning Britain in 2019, Parton noted that on the rare occasions when her husband does accompany her to a concert, he has an ulterior motive. "Usually if I'm playing at state fairs, he loves to go to the fair, and go to the tractor pulls and go to the stockyards and do all that." When Parton does return home to spend some quality time with Dean, they like to keep things low-key. In a SiriusXM town hall, she described what their typical date night looks like. "Well, we do different things, like go to Taco Bell and drive through. Carl and I have a little camper, a little RV, and we're always driving through fast food restaurants to get our stuff. So that's one of the things we do. I'm always in the front seat. Sometimes the employees know me, sometimes they don't. Sometimes I sign autographs on napkins and stuff, and I don't mind any of that, but I really get mad if they mess up my order." When it comes to their date nights, she explained, "We just do whatever feels happy and comfortable for us. It's hard for me to get him to dress up, to go out to a nice dinner, because he's just a country boy and hates that stuff. We just do whatever's good. We have a good time." Given that their first wedding in 1966 was a modest affair, the couple decided to do it up in style when they renewed their vows for their 50th anniversary. At a press conference, Parton said, "We felt, well, we never got a chance to do our whole big wedding. And I missed having a wedding dress and all that."
And so this year we decided we'd just do it all over again.
After the ceremony had taken place, Parton shared more details with Rolling Stone. "I got all dressed up in the most beautiful gown you've ever seen, and dressed that husband of mine up. We just had a simple little ceremony at our chapel at our place. We just had fun with it." When the COVID-19 pandemic hit in the spring of 2020, Dolly Parton found herself spending more time at home than ever before. For the country music superstar, this meant hunkering down with her husband. Considering that Parton has always said spending time apart is the reason their marriage has lasted for 50 years, it's natural to wonder how this forced togetherness has affected them. In April 2020, she offered an answer while giving wedding advice to Today co-host Hoda Kotb. "I would say if you're trapped in the house with him, you might want to be in separate rooms. The reason it worked for me is because I've stayed gone. I can't get away now. I'm stuck there now. I might find out who he is." As always, Parton ended on a punchline. "We may not make it until the next anniversary." Check out one of our newest videos right here. Plus, even more Nicki Swift videos about your favorite stars are coming soon. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the bell so you don't miss a single one.